Hey, what's up guys, this is Fatal Cubes here, and in this video we will be going over methods, but let's first start off with the challenge from the previous video. So I'm not going to spend too much time. You can always look back and pause the video if you want to see the code for this, but so first things first, created three variables: the scanner, the input, and the output. The scanner will read in the input the word to encrypt and break it down into an array of characters. Then going one by one, it's going to add 3 to the characters. So characters do translate into numbers, they have a value to them, and so if you add 3, that'll go 3 letters to the right, and then I'm just checking if it's greater than Z, then just subtract 26 from it, so it's going to loop back around. I then did the output, which is another string variable I have, equals string.copy value of characters. This method takes an array of characters and turns it back into a string and then prints out that string. So if I were to say hello viewers, that's what it comes out to. Pretty encrypted. You really couldn't read that. This is simple encryption. You guys could make it more advanced, maybe add something more, but this is all we're doing for encryption as of right now. Now let's go into methods. So what's a method? A method is a way to store code to be reused in the future, and usually methods have a single purpose to them. So right now we're actually inside a method. Methods have right here they have a identifier for if they're public, private, or protected. This is like their visibility to other classes, and we'll talk more about that later. We just keep it as public for now. Static, we'll talk about this later. You usually don't have static in methods, but the main method is always static. Void is the return type. We'll talk about that later in this video. And then this is the name, and in the parentheses are the arguments. So let's go make a method of our own. And to make the method, we have to give it the identifier for if it's public, private, or protected. It's visibility, and we're going to add the return type as void, and we're going to just name this print. The arguments is not going to be anything, and we use an opening curly brace, enter, and as you see, this is all outside of the main method. We're just going to print hello, and to use this method, you just have to call it by the method name, use the parentheses, and add a semicolon at the end. Now if you hover over it, it's going to say that there's an issue because you're using a non-static method inside a static method. So just change the modifier to static. Yeah, so that's fine there. So if you were to run this, all it's going to do is print hello. So it's going to start through, and it's going to hit this print. It's then going to say, okay, this is a method. We're going to go to the method and run all the code. Once we get to the end of the method, we then return back here. So now let's try adding an argument into our method. So we're going to have to make this static again. And this is going to mean we're going to name it the exact same thing, but this time we're going to take in a string called message. Now when you define an argument, you have to say what type of argument is it. We're saying a string. You can make it an int, a boolean, you can make it any object. You can even pass in a scanner, let's say, and then just the name for it. The name is just like any variable name, does not really matter. And if you wanted to add in more arguments, you separate them by commas, and you just say, another message, a third message. So this will work, and what we're going to do is we can print out each one. So we print out message plus a space plus another message plus a space plus a third message. So what this is doing is when you call this method, you need to give it a message, another message, and a third message, and it'll print it out for you. So in other words, if we were to do print, and we say, let's say hello viewers, and another one, hello viewers, goodbye. Doesn't really make any sense, but that doesn't really matter. What it's going to do is it's going to take in all 3 of these messages, and print it like that, because what it's going to do is we're giving it 3 strings, hello, viewers, and goodbye, and it's taking them and it's saying, well, print the first one plus a space, print the next one plus a space, and print the last one. Again, you can print out anything. You can pass in integers, you can pass in anything you want. That's what make methods. And you'll see now a practical use for a method. We're going to make a public boolean is even, and that's going to take in an integer called a number. And we're going to return if the number modulus 2 equals 0. Okay, so let's see what this does. If we were to say int number equals, oh no, we're going to say boolean even equals is even 10. And we'll make everything static again, and we're just going to go ahead and print out even. Now when we run this, you're going to see it prints out true. So what's happening is it's going ahead and it's hitting this boolean, and it's saying even equals is even 10. So it's going to go in here and it's going to say, okay, is even, we're passing in a number 10. And what does this return mean? Well, the return decides what a method returns. If a method's return type is void, it's not equal to anything. So this method print is just a method. You can just call it. You're not setting a boolean, you're not setting a variable equal to the method. You're just doing the method. Here we're saying, well, we want this method to be equal to something. Basically, a method is equal to its return type. So print and this print method are not equal to anything. They're equal to void. This is even translates into a boolean. And the boolean it translates to depends on what you return. So if the modulus of 2 equals 0, then it returns true. If the modulus of 2 is, if you modulus 2 and it equals 1, so it's an odd number, it's going to return false. As you see, if we make this 11, go ahead and run it, and we're going to see it's false. Alright, that is it for this episode, just some basic methods. You can play around with methods and you can try out the challenge, which we will head over to just about now. Okay, the challenge for this tutorial is pretty simple and straightforward. I want you guys to create an argument that takes in, a method that takes in 3 arguments, 2 numbers, you can name them whatever you want, and an operator, and it's just going to be like our calculator, except the function is going to be called calculate. And it's going to be able to handle adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, and modulus. And if you want, you can go back to your calculator that we created before and try to use this function instead. It's a bit more flexible. Anyway, see you guys in the next video.